In many meetings, presentations and articles, we talk about how fast the world is changing and the effects of this change. In this way, we saw that new and different definitions emerge and we meet new technologies. Due to the pandemic that we are fighting, we have started to hear definitions of new normal and new world frequently. So, what does new world and new normal mean? When we look at the meaning of the word normal, we come across definitions such as normal, natural, customary. In order to a new situation to become normal, first it must be well defined. Its rules must be determined, which means norms must be defined. Behaviors in accordance with the norms determined, patterns can be updated according to the conditions of the day. With updating norms, definitions of normal will be changed and renewed. With the entry of the computer into our lives, the way to a new world began to open. Then, a new cyber world surrounded us with the use of the internet. With the development of technologies that we have been used in the new world, we found ourselves as a part of new cyber world. For better understand the meaning of cyber world, it may be useful to know how the concept of the cybernetics emerged. Throughout the history of the world, major events or major disasters closed eras and opened new eras. The transition process to the cyber age started with the concept of the internet, accelerated with the effect of pandemic, and we found ourselves in the cyber age. For this reason, 2020 has taken its place in our memories as a year which we discussed the new world order and talked about the new forms. Cyberspace is the new word. The term cyberspace, which is used as the exact equivalent of the internet, was first used by famous Canadian science fiction writer William Gibson in the novel Neuromancer, which tells about a computer hacker's experiences while infiltrating a computer system called Matrix. This famous novel is also the first work in which concepts such as virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and genetic engineering are handled. Although not much talked about so far, cybernetic thought, cybernetic life, and cybernetic organism, which are the main cyber concepts, have covered us fully. These concepts form the outline of the cyberspace. After this interesting information, I am sure you have wondered more about the meaning of cybernetics. We can define cybernetics as a multidisciplinary branch of science that can be operate mechanical, physical, and biological systems together according to the conditions of its environment. Now we know that environment is cyberspace, which is internet. Due to the fact that our addiction to the internet has reached the highest level, 2020 can be considered a milestone that leads to new digital lifestyles. Maybe BC and AC can be interpreted differently in line with new norms of normal, which defines a time element of before and after COVID pandemic. BC can be stands for before the COVID pandemic and AC can be stands for after the COVID pandemic. New norms of the normal may have changed with BC and AC. As you can see, interesting and different innovations are awaiting us that we can carry out minds and thoughts to the new age. Due to the changing working methods, employees start to work from their homes, and teams start to work through virtual offices and meeting rooms. Invaluable webinars and presentations were made that allowed us to understand the management perspectives of working from home. These informations have given us benefits on how we can work better and more efficiently at home. We also have made rapid progress in being a team while working from home. However, I think there was not much sharing about the basic of security measures that employees should pay attention to. In this training content, I wanted to share the topics that may be useful and required for remote working and surfing on the internet without going into technical terms. It has always been a problem to monitor the work done from home, and in such cases, studies will have to carry it out on the basis of mutual trust. Processes for the remote working that are technically difficult and had been postponed until the start of the pandemic. However, as a result of health problems, development studies for remote working have now become necessary. In cases where it is necessary to record transactions, these processes should be operated very carefully. The issues to be considered can be grouped under four main parts. The first one, use of company-owned devices. Second one, bring your own device, which means using of personal device for work. Third one, using of online applications that require real-time connection to the company system. The fourth one, using of offline applications that don't require instant connection to the company system. These parts depend on the organizational structure and security levels of the company. For this reason, every organization should determine and operate its own processes correctly. But the measures to be taken personally are basically the same. Many company workers use company computers, smartphones, and devices with different features depending on the needs of the work. In the process of working from home, different solutions are used for monitoring the devices and tracking the employee timesheets. So, what are the main features of the solutions? First, let's talk about the features that are used in laptop and desktop computers. Taking hourly and daily log records of the number of times which button pressed on the keyboard is one of the recording methods. Taking hourly and daily log records of mouse vector movements is another recording method. It's also preferable to record the work of the employee with device embedded cameras or external cameras. But the process is slightly different when using mobile devices such as tablets and smartphones. In these cases, location tracking and system-based applications are used. Such monitoring processes with company-owned devices can be performed by informing the employee and obtaining the employee approval. In cases where personal devices are used, which is called bring your own device, the process works differently. I don't mention it here as the approval and monitoring processes for bring your own device are much more complex. Monitoring remote employees has always been a question mark for company management, such as the compliance of software with laws and its working on cloud architecture. And of course, compliance with the personal data protection law is another important issue here. The process of remote monitoring of employees and performance monitoring is based on numerical data. For this reason, the performance criteria of the employee must be clearly defined. Otherwise, the employee is evaluated as underqualified or mismatched and may be recorded as a lack of performance. How to provide work from home with authorization control and process management planning are the steps that need to be determined primarily. In order to design all these processes in accordance with the company structure, it's great importance that the management, human resources, and IT department's participation to the team to be established. An important issue here is whether the system to be established is controlled and managed by internal resources or outsourcing. For outsourcing, it's important to clearly determine the accuracy of the confidentiality agreement. However, we need a little more time to organize the remote working technical processes according to the company's needs. As can be seen, the process can be safer and healthier with personal security measures. As we can see, the word control in the trust does not exclude control phrase has started to be redefined in business life. Although working from home work processes are controlled with the help of systems, the importance of mutual trust between the manager and the employee has emerged more than ever. For this reason, our aim in this course will be to examine information technologies on the basis of basic security definitions.